Hey, good morning again, my people. Back with you again. What time is it now? It is 10:36 a.m. on this Wednesday, the 21st day of January 2026. I was just going through the newspapers just now and I saw this article on the Antigua Newsroom portal. Astefan, and I guess they're attributing this to Astefan, Antigua and Dominica not singularly targeted by U.S. visa policy. That's the backdrop there. Um, you know what? Let me read it. It's a short story. Let me read it and tell you. When I read it, I asked myself the question, is this guy an idiot or what? I don't think he's supposed to be an idiot. I think I'm not sure if he's a king's counsel or whatever it is, but sometimes I don't know, maybe it's me. I don't know, maybe it's me. This is the article. Regional governments, not individual Caribbean leaders, are being unfairly targeted over recent U.S. visa sanctions, according to Attorney at Law Anthony Estefan, who says the measures overlook years of reforms already carried out by Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica. Estefan pushed back against opposition accusations aimed at Prime Minister Gaston Brown and Rudolph Skerrit, saying critics have ignored a regional process that began in 2023 to tighten oversight of citizen by investment programs. He said the five Eastern Caribbean CIP countries have worked jointly with international partners, including the United States and the European Union, on security, anti-money laundering, and compliance concerns. Those talks, he said, led to agreed principles and a detailed framework establishing the regional CBI regulatory authority. Astefan said the reforms, covering tough due diligence, greater residency rules, and restrictions on name changes were passed into law, with Antigua and Barbuda acting first. He added that matters cited in the U.S. proclamation had already been addressed before the sanctions were passed. All right, so that's the article. And again, as I laugh, you know what I mean? Because, oh boy, what can I say? No, he has said, and correctly, that the reason given in relation to the non-residency visa, and it's crucial that we remember that. Don't get them mixed up. The non-residency visa, or the fact that they're not giving any new one now, or they're not renewing. The one that the proclamation said goes for 6 months. The reason given by the United States was non-residency in the program. And we would have heard that Antigua, of all the five or six countries, how much countries is this? How many countries? Five. Of all the five countries, Antigua was the only one with a residency component, 5 days, and they would have increased it to 30 days. That's the information that's out there. Nobody else. All right. If the Antiguan government and the Dominican government is not being targeted. He said the visa action is part of a wider policy affecting several countries and should not be portrayed as evidence of wrongdoing by Antigua and Dominica alone. Now, if Antigua and Dominica is not the issue, why are the other three countries? Why aren't they in the same boat with us in relation to the non-residency visa? Why? Why isn't St. Kitts B1, B2 study visa, etc.? Why is it that when the St. Kitts, when Kittitians, if they have students abroad, those visas come up for renewal? Why is it that they're getting their visa renewed, but we are not? Why? Why? There's no reason. I would want to believe that if there was no differentiation in the mind of the United States government, everybody would be in the same boat. Because if we had residency all along, if it was 5 days, we increased it, and from what we're the first to have done it, if anybody has done it. So how is it that we are not being these two territories, are not being targeted? How? Outside of that, let's look to the travel ban. Why is it that it's Antigua and Barbuda among these Caribbean countries here? Why is it it's Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica citizens who are subject to this travel ban, which was the second action taken? Why doesn't it apply to St. Kitts? Why doesn't it apply to Grenada? Why? That they said the travel ban was a pilot program, and it's established that Antigua is one of the lowest percentage wise of people overstaying. So what are we doing in that pilot project? What am I missing here, people? What am I missing here? And then this lawyer says that what is happening, the visa action is a part of a wider policy affecting several countries and should not be portrayed as evidence of wrongdoing by Antigua and Barbuda or Dominica. So this affected several countries. Well, maybe he's talking about several countries outside of the Caribbean. I'll give that if that's the case. Maybe that's what he's saying. But I know he's not talking about the Caribbean islands. Because to date, as I'm speaking to you, what did I say, the 21st? I don't know outside of Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, in terms of, I think it might be Cuba and Venezuela with one of them, and then it was Cuba and Haiti with the other one. I'm not sure if it's a travel ban now. But those are the other two Caribbean, quote unquote, islands we're talking about, outside of Antigua, Barbuda, and Dominica. St. Kitts, Jamaica. Let me come from up north. Jamaica, Dominique, no, Dominique is there. So Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados. They're not in this. So how do you get to the policies affecting several countries? Well, again, maybe he's talking about outside of the Caribbean. But for sure, the context of the conversation that I hear people having, that there must be something else going on, is in relation to Caribbean countries. I've checked to see if there was an update on the list. I haven't seen it. I suspect that one more might be added to where we are, Antigua, Barbuda, and Dominica. That is both in the travel ban and the non-immigrant visa part. I suspect one more is going to be added, but I'm not going to call the name as yet. I'm just waiting to see what happens. But I suspect one more is going to be added. Anyway, my people, I just wanted to, maybe somebody out there can correct me. Maybe I'm wrong, right? So you could put in the comments if I'm wrong, where I'm wrong, because this is what my thinking is. I'm just saying to myself, nah, man, something we can't be so. I mean, think anyway. You know what? Let me not go no further and say nothing else because you know it is. You know it is. But for sure, for me, in my eyes, really, I'm beginning to look at this guy in a kind of way. Take care, my people.